Yeah, we are. We here.
We here.
We here. We stay winning.
We in the building.
We are in the building, right? We want to thank you guys for joining us for this most recent episode. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want to follow us on all social media platforms, do so. Stay winning. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. We are also on TikTok. And you can also find us on Spotify. So if you can't watch the actual video, you can go to the Spotify.
Why do you say the actual video?
The video.
You can subscribe on YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube.
You can
see the
subscribe
video.
on Spotify.
Subscribe on Spotify. You see, that's why he's here.
The actual video, like YouTube's the only home for us, man. We everywhere.
We everywhere.
We're about to be.
We like gremlins.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't die. We multiply.
No, that's Bebe's kids.
Hey, gotta mix all the movies together.
You calling Bebe kids gremlins, man?
Yeah, that's funny. Right?
That's borderline right there, bro.
That's
You're about to get canceled.
Don't cancel me, yo. And the gremlins, if they get wet, they just be like, Gizmo get wet. They be popping out. Black people in water.
You got a lot of kids. So come on. What we talk about?
Boom. So check this out. Breaking news. Draymond Green suspended indefinitely by the NBA.
I stay winning.
They trying to keep somebody on the indefinite list, huh?
Listen, that's huge.
Yeah.
So I originally was thinking they was gonna give him 7 to 10 games.
Yeah.
Right? Because he got 5. So I'm like, okay, you know what? They're not gonna give him 5 this time.
Yeah.
They're gonna bump him up.
Yeah.
7 to 10.
That would have made. I mean, I hear
that makes sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But indefinitely, they like, okay, we've had enough.
I think what this means, his shenanigans on the court are weighted more heavily than his talent on the court.
All right. So if you're not following what we talking about, NBA star Draymond Green practically punched Nurkic. Smacked him of the Phoenix Suns in the face in last night's game.
Yeah.
All right. This is 3 weeks from him choking Rudy Gobert?
Yeah.
All right. So his history is...
And that's a season removed from him punching his teammate, Jordan Poole.
Correct.
Yeah.
That got leaked. We ain't going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Got leaked to the masses, right? So this is starting to build up as a character issue now that he's not able to control his emotions.
Dude, I'm mad at myself for not seeing. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna give myself some grace, but I'm gonna go through it while we're talking about this. Because here's what I'm thinking. Boom. Years ago, DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie.
Old Boogie.
Loved watching him play. Dude was an offensive beast. He would get into it with people.
Right.
He would get into it in a threatening way. We're talking about somebody that's 6'11", 7 feet tall.
Right. Big boy.
Stocky guy.
Big boy.
Who always has this look on his face.
Right. I wish you would.
Yeah, like I'm about to haul off.
I'm about that life.
But I think he may have gotten into a little bit once.
Right.
Right? He would get into the arguments all the time.
Right.
But he only really got into it like one time. But I was watching him intimidate other people on the court, and I was like, man, there's no room, there's no place in the game for that. He should be out of the league,
at
least until he gets it together.
Get himself together, right?
I do think Boogie got himself together. Like he hasn't had issues in the past couple of years when he's played in the league.
Correct.
That I can recall. Right.
Correct.
Meanwhile, Draymond Green winning championships, kicking people, fighting whoever, being the enforcer, being the loudmouth that you can catch on camera, cursing and everything at the referees, at whoever's around him.
Right.
And I'm not thinking about any of it. Like he's making contact with folks, choking people out, punching his teammate, as we talked about.
Right.
And I wasn't thinking he should be out of the league. I was just thinking like that's Draymond being Draymond.
Right.
Because he's known as an enforcer.
Correct.
But that's too far.
You know what? His was weird about it. We are not in the 80s and 90s era.
Nah.
See, 80s and 90s, they throwing hands on the court. They just blowing the whistle, breaking them up, and we go continue playing basketball.
Yeah.
You get snatched out of the air, or we just get up, we scuffle, call a timeout, get everybody under control. We back to playing basketball. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Right? So the standard that the NBA is setting is, look, we want a very clean, fun, entertaining game.
Yeah.
And the things that Boogie was doing,
Mhm.
and now the things that Draymond is being recognized to do, they're saying we're not going to allow that.
I think this is the Draymond rule, right? Like, because look, I think there are players who've never gotten into it that could get into it on the court and they would be all right.
Right.
You know, Klay Thompson got into it with Jaden McDaniels.
Right.
They were both okay.
Right.
Because they don't have a history of being those types of guys.
Correct.
We talked about this after the choke. This is Draymond's history.
Correct.
Catching up to him.
Correct.
And he's at that point now where his talent on the court is not that valuable to the NBA anymore.
Now that's where this thing is leaning towards, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is where you're going to take a different sport. Terrell Owens.
Right.
All right.
Right.
That's the way they labeled him.
They call him a distraction.
A distraction, a cancer to the locker room, all these things, right? But as long as he was producing on the football field, we'll tolerate it until we don't want to tolerate it no more, and then we'll move on from him. Well, Draymond is the ultimate triple single guy.
Now he is.
Now.
Yeah.
All right. And guess what? He's making he's making a lot of money to be, you're right.
Careful what you say.
You know it. A lot of money.
He ain't suspended from this set.
That's true. I mean, you know, he can come this way. You know what I'm saying? Brick City stand up. No. Anyway, making a lot of money to be a triple single guy, right? But now you're not even available.
Yeah.
Because your actions are getting you ejected.
Yeah.
And now suspended.
Yeah.
So here's the question. Now what happens to Draymond Green? Because this Warriors dynasty, with the way this is starting to play out, and on top of, yes, I got to do this, Klay Thompson doesn't look the way that he used to look when the dynasty was at this peak.
Here we go.
I got to bring it up. You're only averaging 15 points a game, and it's a little sus right now. This Golden State dynasty is coming to an end, and I feel bad for Steph Curry because now they're starting to question his leadership. That's what they were talking about on TV today. Like, where's the leadership? Why can't we get this guy under control?
Stop watching TV.
No. You're not going to tell me to stop watching TV.
Look, Curry is who he is, and I think he's a great leader in his own life. Curry sets a great example.
Right.
Right? Like, this is somebody that's on the court, you know, leading with his face, quiet guy. I'm not going to call him humble because this ain't humble.
Nah.
Like, that ain't
None
humble.
of the showboat makes him humble.
Right.
Correct.
Right. But, you know, he pretty much stays positive and sets a positive example when the cameras are on.
Right.
What he does behind the scenes, don't know. I don't know the guy.
Don't care.
I don't know the guy.
That's not your business. That's not our business.
Draymond is who Draymond is. Like, Draymond came in the league and he always been this guy. Like, this personality that you see from Draymond has always been present. That's not a Steph Curry thing. Draymond is the alpha, I think, if you traditionally speaking, he's the alpha. Not saying that Curry is soft or anything like that.
Right.
But Draymond is the more boisterous one. Right. So they're both leaders. He's going to be boisterous. He's going to tell you who he is. He's going to yell at you if you challenge him and stuff like that. With Steph Curry's just kind of like, well, whatever.
All right, so how much do you think in Draymond Green's case, right, coming from Saginaw, Michigan, right, watching.
Freeze it. All right, guys. Watch me on the left as I accidentally hit my watch and caused the video to zoom in. We're going to go to just an audio podcast from this point forward.
The Pistons, growing up in Michigan, right, going to Michigan State. Do you believe in any way, shape, or form that the history of that culture, that Michigan culture, plays a factor in the way he plays?
I feel like you're lobbing me a softball here.
Here we go. Come on. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if you saw it, man, but, you know, there are other podcasts out there. I watch a lot of them. You watch a lot of them.
Yeah.
Rasheed Wallace said Draymond, as a kid, was in their locker room.
Right.
The Pistons locker room.
Yeah.
Because his best friend was the son of the GM or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah. And Rasheed Wallace said he's like this because of us.
So, and we know she was a walking tech. Rasheed Wallace was a walking tech.
Yeah.
Right? And then you take Rasheed Wallace, which is after the Isaiah Thomas, you know, Joe Dumars, Bill Laimbeer,
Right.
Mark. That's after that run. But the remnant of the Bad Boys Pistons is current because that's all they talk about.
She was a bad boy, period. Like
Correct.
He was a bad boy at UNC. He's been a bad boy.
So how do we?
That sounds so
that's
bad,
false.
but you know what I'm saying.
I got it.
He's been an old school Piston.
When you take other enforcers throughout the course of the NBA history, I'm not gonna go all the way back because it's a different game, but we will go back to some, right? Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, the Davis brothers in Indiana, Xavier McDaniels, okay, Rasheed Wallace, Ron Artest, all right, Dennis Rodman, Metta World Peace, right? They all toted the line, with the exception of the Malice in the Palace, but that's a different circumstance.
Yeah,
Malice Palace is a different circumstance. We got fans doing things. To me, that's a different circumstance.
It's different. Yeah, it's different when you get disrespected in front of millions on television.
But they all toted the line when it comes to how they dealt with the referees, how they dealt with their teammates, how they dealt with their teammates publicly, how they dealt with the opposing team publicly.
Yeah.
Do you believe Draymond Green has totally blown that line out of the water?
No, because all right. So here's the deal. You talked about how they deal with their teammates publicly. Publicly, Draymond's a great teammate.
Correct.
Right. But we saw what happened with him and Jordan Poole. Like you mentioned earlier, was leaked video.
Right.
Back in the day, they didn't have camera. No. Everybody wasn't walking around with a camera.
Correct.
You didn't have people sitting in the stands just with a towel or whatever, just kind of getting video of your altercation or whatever.
Correct.
So stuff couldn't get leaked. But she talked about
direct.
He talked about Ruben Patterson and Zach Randolph fighting.
Yes.
Right? Like, not fighting in an angry way. It didn't seem like it was an angry way, but it was like them
real fight.
Them tussling.
Yeah.
And it didn't go, like, it went bad for one of them. And everybody in the NBA knew, like the guys on the team in the locker room, they knew right away. The others kind of learned about it, but we didn't know as just fans, coming up. We didn't learn about any of that.
Right.
We learned about it now when guys start to tell these stories.
Right.
So I don't think he's walked past the line on the teammate thing. Okay. I think he's been fine. He's been respectful to his teammates. He's been accountable to his teammates, and he holds his teammates accountable. I think he's been fine there. I think he's blown over the line when it comes to his behavior on the court. Like, I can understand. Look, Nurkic wasn't innocent yesterday. Okay. By the way, right? Like Nurkic was grabbing him.
Yeah.
And Draymond, I think, was trying to bring some attention to the fact that he was being grabbed. So he was,
wailing and failing.
What's going on? Oh.
Right.
And when Nurkic kept grabbing him, that's when Draymond just kind of spun around. It's hard for me to think he didn't intend to backhand the guy.
Right.
That looked totally intentional because nobody spins with their hands up like that unless you're trying to hit somebody.
Correct.
Right? Now, maybe he was going for a shoulder. Don't know. But he hit him in the face. And that was enough, right? And so because of that decision to even do the little spin thing, whatever, swing his hands however way, that's all on Draymond, and unfortunately, he deserves that suspension.
So
because it's history.
We've been talking a lot about like the spirit of competition, that warriors mentality, and just in natural life, competition is an everyday thing.
It's innate.
We're naturally in competition, whether with one another or whomever.
It don't matter like what you believe in, what you don't believe in. When we are born, you have to eat.
Basically. So
if there's limited resources, you got to compete for them.
And in our sports world today, on multiple platforms, on multiple major sporting events. Football, basketball, baseball, boxing. I've been seeing a very uncomfortable pattern with a lot of our star athletes. Yeah. You know what I mean? We got Draymond's situation.
Yeah.
Okay. DK Metcalf's name is starting to creep out there as he's imbalanced emotionally.
Yeah.
Okay. Where you can get under his skin and he just loses it. We already had the altercation with Myles Garrett with the helmet issue a couple years back with Rudolph of the Steelers quarterback. And these are becoming a little bit too regular for my liking, okay? So what do you think these private organizations, the NFL, the NBA, and other platforms, how can they assist the athlete
Yeah.
in getting the help that they need to be able to continue to put on a great, entertaining product for the regular fans like me and you?
It's tough because you, on one hand, you incentivize them to be violent
Okay.
or to be superior to their competition,
Right.
right? On the other hand, you don't want them to go too far,
Right.
right? And so you put rules in place, and you hope that those rules will keep them from going too far.
Right.
But you realize that the punishment for the rules is kind of relative, right? If I'm Michael Jordan, do I get punished?
No.
If I'm LeBron James, do I get punished?
No.
But if I'm fading Draymond Green,
Correct.
you're gonna get punished.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And harshly.
If you are a Josh Primo, no, I can't bring him into this.
Okay.
Sorry, his issues are very different,
Right.
and I shouldn't even brought his name up.
Okay.
But if you are a young player who's starting to establish your name, would you get punished for violence and stuff like that?
We
Yes,
have
you
an
will.
example.
Yes, you will. Who?
Ja Morant. And it
Yeah.
wasn't even violent physical, like on a particular person, but it still had the remnants.
Well, Draymond Green's act last night was would arguably more illegal than what Ja Morant did
Correct.
in the car on Instagram.
Right.
Right. I can't really speak to the situation
Right.
with the kid at his house. I don't know. I don't
We don't know
what
too much
happened there.
about that. Right.
But as far as like him having I heard people say it was a cigarette lighter or whatever, but something that looks like a firearm
Right.
in a car in that particular state was not illegal.
Right.
Draymond Green hitting a guy, whether it's in the act of a game or if it was on the street, would be assault.
So listen, this is what's crazy. I just thought about this, and I think we talked about this, personally. We just had a person get killed on hockey, where the player kicked his leg up and slit the man's throat,
Right.
and he died in the hospital.
Right. Not NHL. This was another.
In another country.
Yeah.
But it's still the same spirit of competition, warrior spirit, not being able to control yourself in competition confinement settings. You know what I'm saying? And it's like things that I'm thinking about is things like,
that one was an accident, though, I believe.
no, the man is in prison for manslaughter.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah, he was gone. He's been convicted.
I saw the story of when it happened.
When it happened, yeah, he's been convicted
I didn't
of
know that
manslaughter.
there was a criminal case there.
So it's just like it's getting kind of weird in that regard. And I'm thinking about things like military. You send our guys to war,
yeah,
and they come back, they're
different.
damaged.
They're different.
Yeah, and they need therapy, they need counseling, they need groups. I mean, are we going into that lane with our athletes?
I think Draymond is a good potential candidate for that type of treatment.
Yeah.
Look, one thing that was positive I want to say that's different from this incident versus like him choking Rudy Gobert,
right,
was that he was apologetic.
Okay.
And I don't know if he already knew like this suspension was coming or what. I don't know what made him apologize, but I want to give him credit for apologizing.
Right, being a man.
That's big.
That takes a man.
He's a man.
I know that, but it's still.
But he set a better
publicly.
example by saying like, I made a mistake.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So I give him a lot of credit for that. Now, what is keeping him from making that same mistake again? Because his judgment is what is being called into question now. Right. Like instead of grabbing Rudy Gobert, him basically putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold.
Yeah.
Instead of just walking away from the Jordan Poole situation, he decided to act on it.
Yeah, to escalate it. Right.
So what's going to cause him to make different decisions moving forward? Right. That's really the question. And I think this is one of those things where just for his own PR, he needs to do something that signals to the world that he's trying to be better.
Right.
Or just retire.
Listen, man, it is with that breaking news that he's been suspended indefinitely. Not only are they sending a message to the league, they are telling Draymond, you're on the clock. Your career is in jeopardy right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because once again, with this kind of reputation, this is a recent reputation. What NBA team, with the way he's been playing, is going to take a chance to bring them on board. See, because here's the reality, and we're going to call a spade a spade. He ain't going to have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson
Anywhere else.
ever, possibly again. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're talking about two of the potential top 5 shooters of all time. We can say one is 1 and 1, maybe 5. However you want to put where they rank, they're the two of the best shooters ever. And he benefited off of their ability.
They benefited from his
And they benefited from his too, right?
Yeah.
But you may not go to a team that's going to have those kind of snipers.
You may not be in the league.
Period. So this is a real lesson for Draymond Green to get you act together. Look, I think you're great. I like the way he played. He played hard. There's very few NBA players in regular season games that play as hard as Draymond Green on defense.
That's why we got the end season tournament.
I mean, it was kind of dope.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
But this is a serious issue. We want to know what y'all think about it. We want to know how y'all feel about it. We want to know what are some of the solutions that all sports platforms can do to help our athletes be better men, fathers, husbands, brothers, teammates, and all that. So
Hey.
let us know.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
We need the same help in the WNBA.
I agree.
And then women's soccer and stuff like that. So it's not
I
just
agree.
about being a better man, being
Right.
a better person.
Period.
Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Yep.
Top to bottom. And listen, we thank you guys for supporting us. And once again, stay winning.
I stay winning. I'm winning, I stay winning. I did it, I stay winning. I'm winning, Never losing. I'm winning, or caught slipping.